one thing I'm noticing, and it consistently shows up in my life, is that I don't think I'm a misanthrope. I think I like people, generally speaking, but I work Monday to Friday and I'm doing high client hours as a therapist, and I also study full time. So I'm seeing classmates or teachers or whatnot, whether virtually or in class. So I'm having a lot of, I would say, human interactions for the most part on my day to day. And I get to the weekend, and that's usually when I want to decompress, and usually binge video games, and then I'll break it up with a social interaction of some sort. And I lead social groups on the weekend, so that does require a bit more human interaction as well. Naturally, as somebody who's autistic, ADHD, introvert, I get kind of burnt out and tired. And it's not that I dislike people, but I get to a point where I'm like, oh, I don't want to interact with people. I'm finding it overwhelming. It's too much. I don't have anything left in the tank. I don't want to emote. I don't want to even make eye contact with people. And I feel bad because I'm in social situations sometimes on the weekends when I'm trying to decompress, but I also want human interaction. And I know I have to do this performance to fit into the social environment I'm in, but I don't really want to because I have nothing left in my reserves. It's like scraping the bottom of the barrel. But I know that there's a social expectation that I'll perform or act a certain way to facilitate the social interaction. So I just went to my Unitarian church. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. I go there for community. It's nice to be surrounded by people and feel part of a community because I'm not, essentially. I'm a free spirit, and I had to go. Well, the sermon finished, and then there was a social hour afterward downstairs, and I was going to go down there and see some familiar faces and say hello, but I was just like, I can't. I have nothing, no gas left in the tank. I cannot do this, the social niceties things, and ask the right questions and show interest and emote. It just is too much. And it's something that routinely can surface in my life, not because I'm burnt out per se, it's because I've just had way too much human interaction, and I need that me time to decompress and recharge after all of that social interaction. That's pretty normal as somebody who's an introvert. It's normal that we need to recharge with our individual passions or our interests. And it's cyclical, I think, especially when you're neurodivergent, because our thresholds for tolerating social contact and the demands of day-to-day life, the executive function demands, it's a little bit lower, I would say, or the challenge is actually disproportionately higher for us for various reasons. And there's a lot of guilt and shame that goes along with that because we feel like we should be able to show up and do these things like other normal, quote unquote, neurotypical people are able to do this, but we should be able to do this, but we can't because our brains aren't wired that way. And so there's a lot of internalized pressure that we will show up in that way and do all this stuff. And I felt a little bit annoyed at myself that I couldn't because I made the effort of coming here. But I know myself well enough and I'm self-reflective enough to know that it's not something to do with us being flawed or being wrong in any way. It's just our inherent needs, and that we have to learn to accommodate those to function in this world. And no one else is going to do that for you. No one else is going to accommodate for you and attune to your needs and read them for you and adjust. You have to be the one who does that. You can't guilt yourself and shame yourself into normalcy. You just don't have that capacities. You're not wired that way. So treating yourself with self-compassion in these situations, listening to what your body's telling you, acknowledging it, working with it rather than fighting it and shaming yourself, because you're already struggling. It's not like you need to add on extra judgment because that just adds to the struggle. Treat yourself with self-compassion, acknowledge that you have needs, and just adjust and do what you need to recharge before you go back into the social arena. And it's so essential. Wondering if anyone who's listening has had this challenge where they feel kind of burnt out on people and they're starting to feel a little bit frustrated and overwhelmed. And, I used the term at the beginning, misanthrope. I don't hate people, but I'm like, people, get away from me. Don't talk to me. Don't interact with me. I don't want to interact with you. I have no bandwidth for you. Have you ever got into that state before? And how have you coped with it? What have you done to recharge? What's been helpful, and also what's been sustainable, I guess, over the long run? Because you can do these band-aid fixes, but what helps you in the long run? Is there a pattern, a routine, a rhythm, something that you can adapt and stick with over time to make sure you don't get into these pits of overwhelm or burnout, and manage your needs consistently? Or if you do routinely get burnt out, what do you do to recharge? I'd love to hear from you.